Welcome back. Today's historic brawl deck is based around the card Atraxa Praetor's Voice, and this is probably one of the best commanders ever printed because of its flying, vigilance, death touch, and lifelink ability, as well as its proliferation ability. Pairing this with cards such as Finn the Fangbearer allows us to give our opponent 3 poison counters or more every turn if we swing in with Atraxa, or if we swing in with Skithiryx twice and it goes through with Atraxa on the battlefield, we win the game. This deck gets out of hand with all the counters that we can get, so let's just jump right into the games. Game 1, our hand is looking pretty good with the Grateful Apparition and the Rusco Clockmaker, as well as the Cultivate, so hopefully we can get another land, and there it is. So now we can start getting our Atraxa out at least turn 4, so we can start getting our proliferation abilities going really quickly. We do get another land, that's okay, it's a Temple Garden, we'll take it though I guess. The Rusco is going to be very, very nice, as well as the Skithiryx because of the amount of advantage we can get from that card. If they don't kill it, which they're playing mono green, we basically can just win the game with it as long as we have Atraxa out there, so we're going to have to see what happens with that card out there because it's going to be very annoying. He is getting quite a bit of creatures out there, so that might be a bit of a threat, but it's not too bad of one to where it's becoming super worrisome. He does get a Stony Strength, so he does get more Sanctum Weaver triggers, so he's going to play something else, which he does in Archaeo form. That's okay, I guess. We're going to do the Skithiryx right here, so next turn we can swing in with it with the Atraxa out there so we can get 5 poison counters on him if he doesn't do anything about it. And he gets 3 mana. Let's see what he does with that 3 mana. Big play. Oh, wait, he does have Fighting. Well, there goes our Skithiryx. That's very mean, but it also becomes a 2-3 now, which next turn it will be a 0-1. So we're going to play the Godless Shrine. We're going to pay 2 life. We're going to do the Infectious Bite on the Sanctum Weaver. Or, no, we can't do it, actually. So we're just going to do the Grateful Apparition, and we get rid of the little Reclusive Taxidermist. And he gets a Ovipower Shirya and an Allosaurus Shepherd. That's very annoying. So he's going to start making huge artifact creatures out there, but that's okay. We're going to just get rid of the Sanctum Weaver so we can get him a poison counter and we can start proliferating it. Then we're going to do a Tezzeret's Gambit so we can draw 2 cards and proliferate, and we're going to swing in with a 4-4 and a 1-1 that proliferates. So he's up to 4 poison counters now, which is really, really good for us, and it looks like he's in quite a bad situation. And I'm not sure if he can really come back. Atraxa is a very annoying card. He gets a 5-5. He swings with a 4-4, which I guess we're just going to take it. Or, yeah, we're just going to take it because we can just gain the 4 back, and it's not that big of a deal. We're going to do the Rusco right now, so we can start getting a bunch of counters on the Midnight Clock. Then we're also going to get the Branching Evolution out there, so we can get a lot of +1/+1 counters on our creatures if we do get them. And we exile his commander, and we just win right there. Game 2. Our hand is looking really good as well. We have the Venerated Rot Priest, which is absolutely insane, and we also got the Iron Apprentice, so we can basically just have a mini Ozolith out there just to move the tokens when it dies, or if we get a lot of other creatures out there, we can start getting more tokens on it. We're going to get a Cold Steel Heart. We're going to choose green, so next turn we can get the Kami or the Staff of Completion to get some mana out there. And it looks like we're going against blue-green, which is going to be interesting because there's usually a lot of counters in this kind of color, Simic anyways. We get the Atraxa out there. We're going to proliferate, so our Iron Apprentice becomes a 2-2. And he gets a Joint Exploration, so he gets to put a land card if it was kicked, which he did, which is a little annoying. I guess we're going to do Dust Legion Duelist here, and then the Venerated Rot Priest. Next turn, we're probably going to do the Azuri because of how crazy Azuri is. We get a 3-3 now. Iron Apprentice, he gets a Ledger Shredder, which is okay, I guess. And let's see, he copies it. So he gets 2 Ledger Shredders out there, so he's going to be able to draw quite a few cards with it. We're going to do the Azuri, and so are we. We're going to be able to draw a lot of cards off of Azuri because whenever we proliferate, we draw a card, which is really good. And let's see if he does anything. He does a Nylea. That's a little annoying, I guess. We're going to do a Staff of Completion here so we can get some more proliferation ability. And we're also going to do a Kami. He does get 2 Ledger Shredder triggers, and he just scoops right there, I guess. Game 3, our hand is looking really good. With the Astral's Cornucopia, all we need is a green land and we can start going off really quickly, or just a land in general, and there it is. So next turn we can get our Astral Cornucopia out there. Just if we have 1 charge counter on it, we can start getting a lot of charge counters and get basically infinite mana in this deck because of the amount of times we proliferate. So I think we're going to play the Astral Cornucopia here just because it's the better play and we can get more mana off of it. So next turn we can get the Atraxa. He does a Cold Steel Heart because it has Flash of the Leyline of Anticipation. And we're going against Dragon, Instant and Sorcery. Okay. That's kind of like the wrong colors, though, for dragons. There's no red. Interesting. It's going to be a very interesting match, I should say. He gets a Cloud Key, so he's going to probably choose Instant or Sorcery. He chooses Artifact. That's interesting as well. Okay, so he's running an Instant Sorcery and Dragon Commander and chooses Artifacts off of Cloud Key. Alright, I'm just going to accept it at this point. We're going to get a Skrelv's Hive so we can start getting some toxic cards out there. We're going to start getting a lot of tokens at the beginning of our upkeep. We're going to swing with a 4/4, and he can't block it, so he takes the 4. We proliferate, which there's nothing to proliferate except our Astral Cornucopia, and we basically have infinite mana at this point. We're probably going to do a Vorinclex next turn, and the Ozolith because of how, I mean, they're just great cards. And let's see if he does anything. It has a Chromatic Ori, so it gets quite a bit of mana off of that. And he's looking at our Atraxa. Let's see if he can kill it or exile it with something, because he's playing white and blue. I'm not entirely sure, and he does nothing. Interesting. So we're going to do the Vorinclex here. Let's see if he does anything to it. He does not. We're going to do the Ozolith. And we also get to do a proliferation ability with our Flux Channeler because we casted a non-creature spell. And he does nothing to it. Once again, we're going to swing in with a 4/4 just in case he has anything like a Settle the Wreckage, which he does not apparently. So we just saved our Vorinclex, I guess, if he didn't have one. And he does a Chromatic Ori just to draw some cards. He gets a Gold Vein Pick, and he passes the turn. Okay, we get the Infectious Bite. We're going to basically fight it, and they get a poison counter, but they get 2 because of Vorinclex, and they scoop right there. Game 4. Our hand is looking really, really good, actually. With the amount of land that we have in the Finn the Fangbearer, it's very, very nice, and the Inexorable Tide just to proliferate whenever he casts a spell. It's quite insane. And we're going against Nethroi, Apex of Death. So it's a mutation deck that gets everything back that they need from the graveyard back to the battlefield, which is a little annoying. It's a Dawn Reader Elk to get some extra lands, I guess. We get the Finn out here. That's going to be fun because Finn is just a very annoying card. He gets a Stitcher's Supplier. Okay, that's perfectly fine, I guess. We're going to do the island here, and then we're probably going to do the Infectious Bite targeting the Stitcher's Supplier. So it's going to kill the Stitcher's Supplier. They're going to get a poison counter so we can start proliferating if we need to with the Atraxa, which we will need to. And he gets a Dawn Treader Elk trigger, so he gets another land, which he doesn't choose white, interestingly enough. He gets a Venomous Hierophant, so he gets to mill some cards. It's basically a Stitcher's Supplier. That's a 3/3 with Death Touch. And we get the Atraxa out here, which is great, so we can start proliferating his poison counters, and we can start getting some damage in with Finn with the Atraxa that I explained earlier. And he swings with a 3/3. We're just going to take it because, I mean, we don't really care. We're going to play the Bark Channel Pathway here. We're going to do the Tezzeret's Gambit. I don't really think we have to play anything else. I probably could have played the Thrumming Bird, but that's okay. We get the Ozolith anyway, so that's really good. And we're just going to swing in with Finn. Let's see if he has anything to bait out Finn. He Murderous Riders it. That's alright, we get to proliferate again, so he's up to 4 poison counters, which is really fun. And next turn we're probably going to do the Inexorable Tide because of how crazy that card is. Swings it with a 3/3 Death Touch, that's okay, we're just going to take it. We get the Ichor Aberration out here, that's also a really good card, and we can start making that thing huge with the amount of proliferation abilities that we have and the amount of times that we will proliferate. It does an Assassin's Trophy on our Atraxa, sadly, so we will be able to get it next turn, but that's just kind of a minor setback for us. Gets a Keeper of Fables out there, so we're just going to take the 3 again. We probably could have killed it there, but that's okay. I guess we'll do Vorinclex here. We're going to swing with a 6/6. Goes down to 17 life. Next turn, I think we will block. I don't know if we'll block next turn. I think we'll have to play the Atraxa again just to get the more proliferation on the poison counters that he has. Gets a Keeper of Fables trigger. We did block the Hierophant. We are going to the World Spell's looking really tempting, but I think Atraxa is just the better play here. Next turn we can World Spell, and he eats to extinction our Vorinclex. That's annoying. I guess that kind of saved him some life. We get the Ichor Aberration, but we don't, it's just too late. We can't cast it. And let's see if he does anything to our Atraxa again. He swings in with a 4/5. We'll take the 4/5. And next turn we have to swing in unless he has a kill spell. We might be dead. Finale of Devastation trigger. That's interesting. He does a Kogla. We get the life, but we also get to kill the Kogla, so that's very good. But our Atraxa's gone. We're going to do the World Spell for 3 so we can get our Inexorable Tide and Teferi out there. And we get to minus the Teferi to make a 2/2, and let's see if he does anything with that. It's a pretty big 2/2, well, it's going to be anyways, and it gets quite a bit of +1/+1 counters whenever we draw a card. Gets a Vraska Golgari Queen, and he can kill it or the Ozolith. He does decide to kill our token, which is a little sad, and he swings in with a 4/5 and a 1/1, so he does get a Keeper of Fables trigger because of Llanowar Elves, and he does get rid of our Teferi, which is okay. Gets a Scourge of the Skyclaves, that's alright, and I think We get the Inexorable Tide trigger. We're going to get another proliferation ability, and next turn, if we don't die, we win the game because of the 3 cards we have in our hand. We'll be able to proliferate, or next end step, if Atraxa is still out there, we'll only have to cast 2, but just to be safe, we're going to cast all 3 of our cards because the Inexorable Tide, and we'll get rid of all of his poison counters, or make them to where they have 10 poison counters, and they will lose the game right there. So I think he might have a sneaking suspicion that that might happen. Gets a Nethroid Apex of Death trigger, so he gets to bring back some stuff. He's probably going to bring back the Kogla, and whatever else is in his graveyard, which he does get the Kogla back, and he gets to mill some more cards. He fikes our commander, which we gain some more life, so we are protected from life this turn, so he does swing in with a total of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage, which is okay, and Vraska Golgari trigger, which is okay, I guess. He gets to get some more card draw, and he sacks a permanent, and that's game right there. So we're going to do the Ajani, Hardcast Ajani for 4 mana. We get to give him another poison counter. We're going to do the Ichor Aberration trigger, but we're not going to play it. We're going to get the Thrumming Bird, and we do have perfectly enough, so we're going to Assassin's Trophy the food token just to be funny because we get to proliferate one more time. He gets 10 poison counters, and we should be able to win the game right there. Game 5. Our hand is also looking very good with the Arcane Signet and the Dust Legion Duelist, and if we need more land, we have the Emergent Sequence, as well as the Vorinclex for late game, so we can get our Atraxa out there pretty early. We're going against Jetmir, so there's going to be a lot of creatures out there very, very quickly. Gets a Karaberry Courtyard, which is okay, and he gets a Plains. He says hello, and let's see, we're going to he's going to get a Prosperous Innkeeper, so he gets a bunch of mana. I guess we'll do the Emergent Sequence here so we can start proliferating it to make a big land next turn with our Atraxa. So next turn we will get Atraxa unless he Stone Rains us or something, which he doesn't. He has Cultivate, so he gets more lands out there. That's fine, I guess. And he reveals a Plains and a Forest. And we get an Island. We're going to do the Atraxa, definitely, and we're going to proliferate our Swamp. And let's see if he puts his Jetmir out here, which he will. And anything else that might come out here off the treasure token, which he doesn't. And we're going to play the Hengate Pathway. We're going to get our Arcane Signet. We're going to get a Branching Evolution, so we can start making our swamp a little bit bigger. So now it's a 5 +1/+1 counters instead of it would have been 4. Traverse the Outlands. He gets a bunch of lands. That's a little scary because he has a 5/4, so he gets 5 lands out there. Luckily, he didn't have any landfall triggers, or that would have been very, very scary. And he foretells something. That's kind of suspicious. We're going to do Cultivate. We're going to grab a Swamp and an Forest. We're going to get a Swamp out there. We're going to swing with a 4/4, and we're just going to leave the 7/7. We're not going to play the Cold Steel Heart just to block anything that he has. And he gets a Verdant Sun's Avatar. That's very annoying because he's going to be able to gain a lot of life, which is, he's tied with me now, so we're going to get a Nissa, and that's going to be a bit of a nuisance for him out there. So we're going to get a 8/8 creature out there, which is very, very scary for him, and we're also going to be able to next turn to get a Vorinclex out there, which will be fun. Rabble Rousing. We'll be able to get rid of it with the Nissa that we have because we can destroy it and target artifact or enchantment with it. And that's probably what we're going to do next turn with the Vorinclex. Ooh, the Shalai is also very nice off of the card draw. We're going to pop the Rabble Rousing. We're going to swing him with a 4/4 just to bring him down some more life so he doesn't get out of hand with the Verdant Sun Avatar. So he's going to be able to gain 1 more life than we'll be doing because of the Verdant Sun's Avatar and the Prosperous Innkeeper with a Consuming Blob. That's okay. He gets a Consuming Blob and a Prosperous Innkeeper, so he's up to 34. We're going to play the Shalai. No, we're going to play the Sorin so we can get lifelink. We're going to plus Sorin so we deal him 1 damage. So we're going to be able to deal him the exact amount of damage every turn as long as we plus him. So he's basically at an even life total every single turn as long as he doesn't have anything to gain him more life, or he doesn't play any creatures, which is very unlikely in this kind of deck, or for our case it is very likely. So we're going to activate Shalai's ability to give everything 4 +1/+1 counters because of the Vorinclex and the Branching Evolution that we have, and we're going to plus Sorin once again. We're going to make a huge 16/16 out there, and next turn we should be able to win with Nissa's ability to allow us to give all of our stuff trample and make them really, really big because of the amount of force we have. It's not a whole lot, but just the trample ability should be able to win us the game from there. Gets a older Raven Guard. I think next turn we'll still be able to remove all the double strike and trample triggers, which is really annoying, but we can remove it with Ashiok. We should still be able to win the game from at that point, unless he gets rid of our Shalai or our really anything. Unless he gets rid of our Nissa, we should be able to win the game. That's basically it. And the Foretold card, I don't think he can. So we're going to play the Ashiok Nightmare Muse. We're going to minus it to return the Jetmir back to his hand. That gives him double strike and trample. So now they're all back to normal. They're really tiny. We're going to plus Soren here so we can just deal him some more damage. We're going to do the Shalai trigger just to give everything even more plus and plus 1 counters. We get a draw, and then we're going to do the Nissa. So we have a lot of damage coming in, and that should be game right there. So overall, this deck was very, very good. I mean, Atraxa Praetor's Voice is probably one of the best commanders ever printed. It's just a fantastic card, and cards such as Skithiryx and Vorinclex Monstrous Raider make this deck go very, very crazy and very, very good. Staff of Completion, I wish we could have saw a little bit more so we could proliferate quite a bit or draw or do anything that we really needed to do. Shalai was such a fun card in the deck, and I wish we could have seen Basriket even more, because Basriket would have been an absolutely insane planeswalker out there. But overall, it's just a very, very fun and well-rounded deck. If you're going to build an arena deck, I would highly recommend this deck. This deck is very good. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. At the time of recording, we're at 390 subscribers, and if we can reach 400, that would be super, super great. Thank you for watching.